The Galactic Council Hall was silent, not a peaceful silence, but a fearful one. Hundreds of alien leaders were present. Some were tall, some were small, some had ruled star systems for thousands of years. Yet today, all of them looked afraid. A large screen glowed in the center of the hall. One word was written on it: invasion. The first species stood up. Their leader spoke with a shaking voice. "We are evacuating our worlds. We cannot fight this enemy." Another species followed. "We will run. Survival is our only choice." One by one, the strongest races of the galaxy announced the same decision. They packed their fleets. They abandoned their planets. They fled into deep space. The name of the enemy was whispered again and again: the Devourers. They had destroyed entire civilizations. No one had ever stopped them. Wherever they came, death followed. Fear spread like fire. Soon, the Great Hall was almost empty. Powerful empires were gone in minutes. Flags were lowered. Hope was abandoned. Only one section of the hall remained occupied. The humans. They sat quietly. No panic. No shouting. Just silence. The other species looked at them with confusion. Humans were new to the galaxy. Their ships were smaller. Their technology was weaker. Everyone expected them to run first. Finally, a human representative stood up. He looked around the empty hall. Then he spoke calmly. "Humanity will not run." Gasps filled the room. The human continued, his voice steady. "We were born on a harsh world. We fought wars. We lost our home many times in history. Running is nothing new to us." He paused. "But this time we stay." The screen showed the invasion path. Earth was directly in its way. The human looked at it and said one final sentence: "If the galaxy runs, then humanity will stand." And on that day, while every species fled the invasion, humanity chose to fight. After the council ended, the galaxy watched in silence. Great fleets jumped into hyperspace. Entire civilizations disappeared overnight. Star systems went dark as worlds were abandoned. The galaxy was running. Many alien leaders spoke in private channels. They laughed in fear and disbelief. "Humans are foolish," some said. "They are too weak to survive," others agreed. They studied human history. What they saw confused them. Humans came from one small planet. They had no ancient empire, no perfect world. Their history was full of war, loss, and mistakes. Their own species had nearly destroyed itself many times. So why were they not afraid? On Earth, there was no celebration, no false hope. Human cities prepared quietly. Old shipyards reopened. Damaged warships were repaired instead of being abandoned. Weapons long forbidden were taken out of storage. Human leaders spoke to their people, not with lies, but with truth. They told them the enemy was powerful. They told them many would not survive. And still, people stayed. Because humans understood something the galaxy did not. Earth was never safe to begin with. Storms, diseases, wars. Humans had lived with danger since the first day they existed. Survival was not luck to them. It was a habit. The Devourers were coming. And for humans, this was not the end of peace. It was just another impossible fight. Alien observers watched human space grow busy. Ships moved into defensive lines. Small fleets spread out instead of gathering together. It looked chaotic, but it was not. Humans were preparing to lose and fight anyway. One alien commander finally said in fear, "They are not brave." He paused, watching human fleets move into position. They simply do not know how to give up. And as the invasion shadows reached the edge of human space, the galaxy began to understand. Humanity did not stay because they believed they would win. They stayed because running had never saved them before. The invasion arrived without warning. Space itself seemed to darken as the Devourer fleet entered human territory. Their ships were massive, silent, and countless. They blocked stars. They bent light. To most species, the sight meant the end. Human sensors detected them early. There was no panic. Human commanders watched the screens calmly. They had expected this moment. There were no speeches. No long goodbyes. Only short commands. Begin Phase 1. Small human ships moved forward. They were not strong. They were not fast. Compared to the enemy, they looked fragile. Alien observers could not understand the plan. Why send those ships first? One asked. They will be destroyed in seconds. The Devourers reacted immediately. Energy weapons fired. Space exploded with light. But the human ships did not retreat. They scattered. They flew in strange patterns. They cut engines. They hid behind debris. Some vanished from sensors completely. The Devourers slowed down. They did not understand this kind of movement. Then it happened. Explosions erupted inside the enemy formation. Human drones, small, cheap, and forgotten, detonated from within. Supply ships burned. Communication vessels went silent. For the first time in recorded history, the Devourers were confused. Human fleets struck next, not with power, but with timing. They attacked weak points. They vanished before a counterattack could begin. One massive Devourer ship lost control. Its shields failed. A human cruiser rammed into it at full speed. The explosion was seen across multiple systems. Silence followed. Alien observers stared at their screens. A Devourer ship destroyed. The enemy pulled back for the first time ever. Human commanders did not celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. As the broken enemy ship drifted in space, a human officer spoke quietly. This was not a victory. He looked at the remaining invasion fleet. This was a message, and the Devourers had just received it. The galaxy was watching now. Battle footage spread across every remaining world. Species that had run away stopped their fleets and looked back. They watched humans fight an enemy that no one had ever slowed. The Devourers did not retreat again. They adapted. Their ships changed formation. Their weapons adjusted. The next attack was brutal. Entire human squadrons vanished in seconds. Space filled with fire and broken metal. Human losses increased. And still, they did not fall back. Human fleets moved closer, not farther. They placed themselves between the enemy and Earth. Every ship knew its role. Some were never meant to return. One human carrier took heavy damage. Its engines failed. Escape pods launched, but the ship stayed behind. The captain made a simple choice. He turned the carrier toward the enemy fleet. Alien observers shouted in shock. He cannot escape. The carrier charged forward. Weapons fired until the last second. Then it exploded, tearing open a path through the enemy line. Human ships moved through the gap. The Devourers paused, not because they were weak, but because this behavior was new. Humans did not fight to survive. They fought to stop the enemy. An alien war historian whispered, "They're using themselves as weapons." More human ships followed the same pattern. Damaged vessels did not retreat. They blocked attacks. They bought time. Every second mattered. Earth defenses activated. Ground-based weapons fired into space. Civilians watched the sky burn, knowing the battle was above their heads. For the first time, the Devourers began to lose ships faster than expected. The galaxy felt something strange. Hope. A message spread among alien channels. They should be broken by now. Another answered quietly. They fight like they already accepted death. And in that moment, the war changed. Humanity was no longer the weakest species, standing alone. They had become the line the invasion could not easily cross. And the Devourers had met something they did not understand, a species that refused to step aside. The battle around Earth did not end, but something changed. Across the galaxy, fleets that had been running slowed down. Commanders replayed the battle footage again and again. They watched human ships burn, yet keep fighting. They watched the Devourers struggle for the first time. Fear was still there, but now shame followed it. One small alien fleet turned around, then another. They did not come to lead. They came to follow. The first Allied ships arrived at the edge of human space. Their weapons powered up, unsure of their welcome. Human command noticed them instantly. No warnings were sent. No threats. Human ships opened their formations and made space. A simple message was transmitted. Take any position you can hold. More fleets arrived. Species that once laughed at humans now flew beside them. Old enemies shared targeting data. Different languages spoke the same short commands. The Devourers reacted with fury. They launched a new weapon. A massive energy wave spread through space, tearing through shields and hulls. Entire lines of ships vanished. The Allied fleets shook. Panic returned. Some ships began to pull back. Human vessels did not. They moved forward, straight into the weapon's path. Defense ships activated layered shields. Many failed. Many were lost. But the wave weakened. Earth survived. Alien commanders realized the truth. Humans were not protecting their own world. They were protecting everyone behind them. With renewed strength, the Allied fleets attacked. This time it was organized. Human tactics guided the strikes. The Devourers were pushed back sector by sector. For the first time, the invasion stalled. Across the galaxy, a message spread. Humanity is leading the war. Human commanders did not claim glory. They only gave orders. Hold the line. Cover that fleet. Do not let them pass. As explosions lit the stars, one alien captain spoke softly to his crew. We ran to save ourselves. He watched human ships burn ahead of him. They stayed to save us all. And the galaxy fought on, no longer alone. The final battle lasted 3 days. There was no clear sky left around Earth. Space was filled with broken ships, fire, and silence between explosions. The Devourers threw everything they had into one last attack. They believed humans would finally break. They were wrong. Human fleets were smaller now. Many ships were gone. Many names would never be spoken again. But the line still held. Allied fleets followed human commands without question. Humanity had earned that trust with blood. The Devourers launched their final core ship. It was larger than anything seen before. Its weapon charged slowly, drawing energy from the battlefield itself. If it fired, Earth would fall. Human command made a final decision. Every remaining ship moved forward. There was no retreat path left. Human pilots knew the order. They did not ask questions. They did not hesitate. They accelerated. The combined fleet crashed into the core ship. Missiles struck. Railguns fired. Ships rammed into weak points. One by one, human vessels disappeared in flashes of light. Finally, a human flagship reached the core. Its captain sent one last message. For Earth, for the galaxy. The explosion shattered the core ship from the inside. The Devourer fleet stopped moving. Then it began to collapse. Silence spread across space. The invasion was over. Earth still stood. Across the galaxy, survivors gathered what remained. Memorials were built. Records were changed. History was rewritten. A new law was passed by the rebuilt Galactic Council. When humanity stands, the galaxy stands with them. Humans did not ask for praise. They returned to rebuilding, to healing, to remembering. But the galaxy remembered forever. They remembered the day every species ran, and the day humanity chose to fight. From that moment on, one truth was never forgotten. Never doubt a species that has already survived its own extinction many times.